This is the last video from St. Maartin. We were planning on firing some more cash game videos, but something came up. What's up, you guys? Change of plans here. We are entering the main event. Maybe a little bit of peer pressure, but maybe for a good reason. Got our boy here. That's why we travel with him. He puts us in these fun spots.
It's the main. How can you not play?
Yeah, how much was it, Ethan?
Not much.
$1,700. But we're only less than half the average stack, so we're only one double up away from playability. This dude has like 100K. Yeah, so we're gonna meet each other at the final table.
Good. Battle up for 60K.
Good luck, buddy.
Good luck, man.
Yeah. $1,700 is the biggest buy-in for a tournament I've ever done in my life. So there's definitely some excitement mixed in with a bit of nerves. With over 200 entries, the prize pool has ballooned to over $350,000. First hand of the night, I look down at pocket eights at the 600, 1200, 1200 blind level. I'm in the small blind and the cutoff raises it up to 3.6K. Could be going for a 3-bet here, although I don't have too many big blinds, so I'd rather just call here for 3.6, flop a set, and then get my stack in when I'm good. By me calling, it brings in the big blind for 3.6K, and we're going 3 ways to a flop, which comes king 7-5 with 2 diamonds. Never going to be leading out on this board, although it is a pretty good board for us other than the 1 king above our 8s. I check, the big blind checks, and better news for us is when the cutoff checks behind. Doubt he's going to be balancing his range too often here. On a pretty draw heavy board, if he had a hand like king queen, probably would just fire off a 5K bet here. So when he checks behind and the 6 of spades peels off on the turn, great card for us. We now have an open-ended straight draw to go with our second pair. I lead out into the field for 7K, looking to thin the field here, protect against hands like ace queen, ace jack, cards with some equity against our hand. I bet 7K, the big blind gets out of the way, and the cutoff now min raises to 15K. Not exactly sure what he has here. Like I said, he'd probably just fire the flop with any strong king, but given the fact that this is a main event, I think people are less likely to bluff, and it's a min raise, which is very strong, and he's definitely setting up for a river jam for my effective chip stack, so I decided to get rid of it for 8K more chips. Maybe a bad fold, maybe a good fold, we'll never know, but we're on to the second hand here where we look down at ace deuce of diamonds. Let's see if I can make up for my interesting play in the first hand. Still at the same blind level. Under the gun limps, the player on my right limps, and I jam my entire stack in for 22K, trying to take down some of the chips that are already in the middle. Looks like we're going to have to get lucky here when under the gun decides to call off our chip stack for 22K, and he turns over a hand that has us dominated, ace queen offsuit. But we're playing a tournament, and our mentor is Ethan Rampage Poker, so when he gets it in behind, he usually sucks out. Is that going to be the same for us here? Yes, it is. The flop comes deuce 4-9. Let's freaking go. Turns a king. We have to avoid an ace or queen on the river, which we do, and just like that, we're up to just under 50K in our chip stack. Man, tournaments are easy. Sitting around 40K in our stack at the same blind level. 1200 is the big blind. I'm under the gun and raise it up to 2700. The big blind puts in the call. We're going heads up to the flop. Flop's not too great for us. It comes monotone spades, queen 8-7, all spades, and the action's on me when the big blind checks. I decide to go for a half pot size bet here of 3K. Why? I have a pair, which is pretty hard to make, plus I have a spade in my hand, and I have the opponent covered, so he's going to have to play a little bit tighter than us. So I bet out for 3K, and it gets the job done. He folds. I turn over the 5 of spades for him and the table to see, and we're 1 for 1 on the night so far. Approaching 2 p.m., we look down at our next hand here. Pocket 9s from the cutoff. The hijack opens it up to 2700. I decide to put in a call here looking to set mine, and that brings in the big blind as well. So going 3 ways to the flop here. We're looking for a great flop. We need some help to win this tournament, and that's what we get. Ace 9-5, bang, we flop middle set. Dream spot for us here. Pretty connected board with the 2 diamonds out there. The big blind checks. I'm expecting the hijack to bet on this board. He's going to have a lot of strong aces in our range. This could be a dream spot for us, but he elects to go for a check here, which is definitely a little bit weird. No worries though. I'm going to protect against my hand against any flush draws. Try to get some more money in the pot. I bet out for 3K. Big blind gets out of the way. The hijack surely has to call here. Maybe he was trapping with a hand like ace 9, ace 10. The screen says fold, so that's not great news at all. I'm not really sure how we just check folds on this board. Finally flop ourselves a good hand and basically make the minimum there. Oh well. Real quickly, you guys, if you want to play online with me in beautiful places like this, you can do it on Club GG. There'll be a link down below. Come play with myself, my buddy Ethan, Mariano, Karan, all the homies, and you can play from anywhere, even in beautiful St. Martin. So yeah, let's get back into the hands. If you guys want to get on that virtual felt, there'll be a link down below. And there's weekly free rolls, so you don't even have to put any money in. Sounds like a great deal to me. Let's go. We're up to the 800 16-16 blind level, and we look down at pocket tens here from the +1 position. Under the gun, the player to our right raises it up to 3,700. Not going to be flatting here with a hand as strong as pocket tens, so I decide to come in for the 3-bet to 8,500, which represents almost 25% of our chip stack. The action folds back around to him, and now he just jams it all in, putting me all in for 49k effective. Definitely a weird spot here. Pocket tens is a strong hand, but he easily could have a hand like ace king, king queen. He could also have jacks plus. Jacks, queens, kings, or aces, which would definitely be a really bad spot. Maybe I'm playing scared money here, but I decide to fold my hand. He later tells me that it was a good fold because he had pocket queens. Real quickly, wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor for this video, pokercoaching.com. If you guys want to get better, there's a link down below. You can do a free trial and start your journey with getting better with poker. They're also going to give away some money, I think $400 to anyone who clicks on the link below and joins in. That can get you into a tournament like one of these World Series circuit events, give you a shot to build your bankroll. Thank you, Poker Coaching. Click that link down below, and it's definitely helped me get better. I hope it helps you get better as well. Let's run it up in this tourney. Let's go. Right, enough folding. I look down at pocket sixes from under the gun, and I raise it up to 3,500. Player in the +1 position puts in the call. We're going heads up to the flop, which comes jack high. Jack 8-3 with 2 hearts, and the action's on me. I decide to go for a 4k c-bet here, and the opponent puts in the call. So his hand is going to be weighted towards straight draws like 9-10, 9-7, maybe a heart draw, and maybe a hand like king jack, queen jack. So when he calls here and the jack of diamonds peels off on the turn, it's not exactly the best card, but it's not the worst card because it makes it less likely that he's going to have some strong jacks and more likely that he's going to have some draws. In the moment though, I decide to check it over to the opponent, and he actually checks behind, so that pretty much confirms my suspicion that he's on more of a draw type hand. When the king of clubs comes in on the river, this is definitely a card I should be betting on. I'm going to have way more strong kings in my range, but in the moment I decide to check. Not exactly too stoked on how I played this hand, and to compound on that, when he bets out for 5k on this river, I decide to get away from my hand here and muck. I think I just need to be putting in the 5k here and see what he shows us. Could be a missed heart draw, could be a hand like 10-9, so pretty upset at the way I actually played this hand here, but that's the beauty of making a poker vlog. You live and you learn. Speaking of living and learning, you guys will see what I mean in this hand. I look down at 8-6 of hearts here. I have 22k in my stack. We're gonna need some help here because the blind levels are going up. +1 raises it up to 4,500. The action folds around to me, and I put in the call here from the big blind. I need to defend it here, and we flop ourselves a heart draw. King jack 9 with 2 hearts seems pretty good. I decide to check it over to the opponent, see what he's gonna do, and he checks behind. So now I maybe could put some pressure on him on the turn, and that's exactly what I think we should do when the 6 of spades peels off on the turn, giving us a pair to go with our flush draw as well. The opponent has shown weakness. I do have 16k worth of ammunition that I could just fire into the middle here, which is exactly what I do. 16k is the bet, and I get snap called. Not exactly a dream situation. We're gonna obviously need to hit an 8, 6, or any heart to probably scoop this hand. Sure enough, he turns over ace jack of clubs. So just a non-believer. I had a short stack, but I thought 16k had enough fold equity to maybe get a hand like 10s or ace 9, 9, 10 to fold. We're gonna need to see a good river for us, which doesn't come. The 7 of diamonds peels off, and that's gonna do it. A 45k chip pot is going the opponent's way, and just like that, we are out of the $1,700 main event. We bust out in 94th place, but no worries, there's another tournament going on as well. It's a $400 turbo ring event, and I'm going to get my money in here and try to run it up. I have around 20 big blinds in my stack in the first hand with pocket eights, and I rip it in and get called by ace queen, so it's a good old-fashioned flip till the opponent flops an ace and rivers a boat, and just like that, we're out of the main event and we're out of the $400 ring event. Alright, well, we busted out of that tournament. Not the result we wanted, but I think we made the right play there with the pocket 10s. And then the 6-8 of hearts, I think we just got to jam it in there and get some higher cards to fold. Asked Ethan after the hand and he said he would have played it the same way, so that's always good. If you guys want to get better at tournaments, I know I do. I'm going to be using pokercoaching.com to help me get better in the following weeks. If you guys want to do it, there's a free trial. Click down below and they're going to give away some money to a lucky person who clicks my link. So it's a free roll. I wish today was a free roll, but it wasn't. We're not going to let those two tournaments get to us. We're a cash game player, so I naturally hop into the 2-5 game for $2,000. First hand, we look down at pocket kings. This is more my bread and butter. Let's see if we can run it up here. I'm in the big blind. The button limps. The small blind completes, and I raise it up to $20, and both players call. So we're going 3 ways to flop here in between 2 opponents. The small blind checks it over to me. I decide to check it over to the button, and that brings in a free card. When he checks behind, it comes the 5 of diamonds. Small blind checks it over to me for a second time, and now I'm going to go for some value into the field. I bet out for $25, and the button looks me up for that price, and we're off to the river, which comes the 10 of diamonds. Going to go for a 1/10 pot size bet here for $15. He snap calls me, I turn over my hand, and we're good. $140 coming my way, and this is more like it. I love cash games. Up $70 on the night. I look down at the ladies, pocket queens, and the player to my right opens it up to 15. Standard 3-bet incoming for me on the button. I make it $40, and the player on my left cold calls, and that's about it. The other player on my right gets out of the way. Looking for a good flop, which is what we get. Jack 6-3 with 2 hearts. We flop ourselves an overpair. When he checks it over to me, pretty standard C-bet for $60, and he looks me up for that price, and we're off to the turn. Turn comes a 4 of diamonds. Really shouldn't change anything, although 5-7 now makes a straight. He checks it over to me, and I decide to check behind here. If he has a jack in his hand, he's probably only going to call one more street of betting. So I like my check back here because it's going to let us get probably paid on the river from any jack. He could bet, we could also raise. Could get a little bit interesting, and if we fade a heart, we're going to win this pot, which is exactly what comes as 6 of diamonds. Small blind leads out into me now for $75, and I snap call here, which might have been a mistake. I probably should think about raising. Although if we raise here, what are we getting called by that we have beat? I don't really think a hand like king jack offsuit is going to call us for a raise here, so maybe my snap call wasn't too bad. And like I said on the turn, I like my check back because it gets hands like this. Ace king of spades just to blast off on the turn. Sure, he did have 2 overcards and he could have got there on the river, but just like that, we're going to pick up an extra $75 on the river there because of our check back on the turn. A $365 pot coming my way. Alright, you guys, we're up 150 on the session, and I look down at ace jack of hearts here from the low jack. Under the gun raises it up to 20, and I 3-bet to $55. Small blind puts in the call, and under the gun gets out of the way. We're going heads up in position to the flop, which comes jack high, jack 10-7 with 2 spades, and the small blind checks it over to me. Obviously, I'm going for a C-bet here all day. $45 is the price of poker. He obliges, he puts in the call, and we're off to the 7 of hearts on the turn. Pretty great card, does not change the wetness of the board at all. When he checks it over to me, I actually decide to check behind here, which I think is a mistake. Board's pretty wet. There's hands like 8-6, 8 queen, 9 queen. Any hand with 2 spades in it would call a good size bet here. I don't really like my check back because it lets opponents get there on the river. River comes the king of clubs, and he fires out for $60. And I actually decide to fold my hand. Fold my hand, yes, I think that's a little bit weird in the long run, but in this moment, he ends up showing me 8-9, so he was trapping on the flop. Pretty great spot for us just to get away from it and save some money, but I think in the long run, even though he showed me 8-9 here, I think there's going to be a lot more bluffs like missed spades, so I just probably should be putting in the $60 there and seeing what he has. Results oriented, I made a good fold, so I really can't complain about that. Last hand of the night, we looked down at the same hand, ace jack of clubs, a different suit, but still a pretty strong hand. So when I'm in the small blind and under the gun raises it up to 20, there's 2 calls over to me. I put in the call as well. Either should be calling this 20 here or raising it up to something like $80 or $100, looking to win the money and get heads up with the opponent. The flop comes ace 7-4, so we flop ourselves top pair with a good kicker, and I decide to check into the field considering there's 3 other opponents. Under the gun bets out for $35, and when it folds to me, I'm not going anywhere for that price. I put in the call, bringing in the 9 of spades on the turn. When he bets on the flop, I'm going to check it over to him on the turn, and he decides to check behind and take a free card. which is the 4 of clubs. So when he checks behind on the turn, he's probably giving up and not really going to fire rivers. So I decide to bet into him here for $25 on the river, looking to get paid off for one last street of small value. He puts in the call for $25, which is good news for us. And when we show our hand, he mucks, and that's going to do it from our cash game session here. Got out for $21.46, so a profit of $146. And that wraps up our St. Maartin trip. We head over to the airport and spot some speculative liquor here in the duty-free section. We hop on the plane, which feels like we're going to the Antarctic with all the air conditioning coming out. And just like that, we're on the plane back home to the United States. Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.